An orientation mini-lecture for religious studies courses. The purpose of academic religious studies courses is to study the various religions, not to teach them. This distinction is vitally important. Academic religious studies courses will not advocate or promote any particular religion, nor will they disparage or deprecate any religion. Rather, the goal is to understand. You may have been surprised and hopefully excited to learn that you could take religious studies courses as you work toward your degree at Brandman. The rationale for including religious studies classes in a college curriculum is at least twofold: a cultural rationale and a philosophical rationale. Let's look at the cultural rationale first. To understand the world in which we live, we do well to study religion. People are not only biological, chemical, psychological, sociological, political, and economic organisms. People are religious beings too. In fact, for many people, religion is a major part, even the organizing center of who they are. Thus, in order to understand people, we need to study the world's religions, as well as biology, chemistry, psychology, sociology, political science, economics, and so forth. Not surprisingly then, religion is one of the key ingredients in many of the puzzles we must solve if we are to understand our contemporary world. For example, how are we to understand the fact that in the United States, the religious right and the religious left read the same sacred text and yet come to opposing positions on such issues as abortion, euthanasia, equality for women, homosexuality, gay marriage, and climate change? Or moving to the global stage, how are we to make sense of terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS? And just what is the true meaning of the Arabic word jihad? Clearly, even atheists and agnostics must acknowledge the significant impact of religion on human existence, for good or ill. The second rationale for why religious studies courses belong in any well-rounded college curriculum is philosophical. The following quote from a college-level textbook for New Testament studies creatively expresses this rationale. Quote, "The New Testament is a book that millions have considered unequal in wisdom, without peer in the things that matter most. Surely it would be a paltry education that took no hard look at such a book, or the rest of the world's great wisdom literature. Surely not to know something about Plato, the Buddha, Confucius, Muhammad, the Hebrew prophets, Jesus, or humanity's other great seers would be to leave college half-baked." We are quite aware then, by this criterion, many colleges are dumping on the market a lot of poor products. Liberal education, in which the world's wisdom literature figures prominently, is almost an endangered species. This does not mean, however, that either we as teachers or you as students have to accept such a bad state of affairs. Things are not yet so corrupt that any of us is forced to remain illiterate. The wisdom literature is still in our libraries. The tradition is not completely snuffed out. If any of us want to, we can still converse with the great minds of the past, still ponder the key questions of being human. The problem with philosophy, the love of wisdom, is that it leads to stark, uncomfortable questions. The unexamined life is easy enough. Just eat, drink, and make merry. But an easy, ordinary happening, such as a car accident, a cancerous growth of cells, or the loss of a job, can break the unexamined life. If we are at all realistic, only the examined life is worth living. The life in which God, salvation, justice, evil, and love cry out for constant study. When these propositions make sense, you're ready for the New Testament." End quote. I would expand their final sentence as follows. When you desire to ponder the key questions of being human, then you're ready to engage in religious studies courses. What mindset should I bring to my studies, you may ask? Any academic class in religious studies will ask students to do two things: bracket and empathize. By bracket, I mean that students must attempt to bracket their own religious convictions. This does not mean that students are to abandon their convictions. Rather, students are temporarily to set aside their beliefs in a spirit of openness so that they can hear and thereby come to understand the beliefs of others. By empathize, I mean that students must attempt to feel with those who hold the religious beliefs being studied. Rather than being judgmental, religious studies students must attempt to understand a religion from the inside, must temporarily adopt the presuppositions and beliefs of the religion or sacred text being studied. Religious studies professors realize that in any given course, some students will be followers of the religion being studied. Those students may receive devotional benefit from the class, and that's fine. But remember, that is not the designed intent of the course. Religious studies professors also realize that when students are exposed to new ideas and beliefs, they sometimes modify their current beliefs. Indeed, when people are exposed to new ideas of any kind, one of three things typically happens. Either they find their current beliefs strengthened, or they modify their beliefs with some of the new ideas, or they abandon their current beliefs and adopt new beliefs. And that's fine. What students choose to do with what they learn is a personal matter. But remember, the goal of the academic study of religions is to understand. I hope you're excited to begin the class. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask your professor. Your success is our goal at Brandman University.